Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the I See Old People podcast. Wherever you are in the world, you found Dr. Bruce, and he's continuing on with the I See Old People podcast. I just finished listening to my last podcast, which was 6 months ago, and I must say that my voice was quite sad throughout the entire podcast. So I hope that that's not the case today. I certainly don't feel sad, so I don't want sadness to come through my voice. It did seem like I was quite down. And there are a couple of things I need to talk about that happened back on my fifth anniversary of quitting drinking. I went and did something really foolish. I didn't relapse. I didn't go to a bar and start to drink. What I did was I was walking down the grocery aisle, the grocery store aisle, and I saw Corona 0% alcohol beer. And I picked up a six pack of that beer, that fake beer, and I brought it home. And I sat in my backyard and I drank all six of them, just like I would have if there was alcohol in them. And then the worst thing about this story, because it does get worse, is that I went back again a couple days later and I bought another six pack. And to make it even more horrific, I did it again about 2 days after that. And then 2 days after that, so less than a week from my fifth anniversary of quitting drinking, my fifth year of sobriety, instead of a cake that day, I went and bought alcohol-free beer, and within 6 days, I had drank three six packs. So the next 2 days later, on a Tuesday morning, I went to an AA meeting, and I haven't been to an AA meeting in 3 years, and I actually put AA down a bit on this podcast, so I apologize and I take that all back because there's a place for you. There's a place for AA in my life. And believe me, it's hard to carve out an hour once a week to go to an AA meeting. It's just insane that it's so difficult. But then it's hard for me to carve out an hour or two to put out a podcast as well. So just the kind of catastrophic, that's not the right word, pandemonium type of life that I lead. So it's interesting. It keeps me on my toes, but it is difficult when you want to do things that you know will benefit you, that you need to carve the time out to do that. And I went back to AA not because I relapsed, but because I needed support from people. I was, if I'm pretend drinking, if I'm sitting in my backyard pretend drinking, how long is it going to be before I'm really drinking? And I just knew that something terrible was happening. And this is when I thought it was all over, right? Like, I mean, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, then 5 years. I haven't drank it. I haven't drank in so long. But yet there I was pretending to drink on my fifth anniversary of sobriety. So I'm going back to AA once a week now, and I'm loving it. The people were so welcoming. They were so inviting. It was great. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to a meeting tomorrow. I look forward to it all week long to go to the meetings and just be with other people that have very similar types of issues as I do. Very difficult for them to control themselves when it comes to alcohol and sharing the tools that we all have to stay sober. And one of the first things I did, of course, was I didn't buy another six pack of alcohol-free beer. So that little experiment, it wasn't even an experiment. It was just like a mind fart, to like my a blip in my brain that made me pick that up. But then it was really the psychotic trance of sitting there and drinking it just as if I had a bottle of an 8.5 IPA in my hand. Instead, I had a 0% Corona, and it was just as isolating and it was just as ridiculous. So I'm really happy that I went back to AA, and I'm enjoying my uh, comrades there, the people that deal with these same issues as me. AA is an amazing place right now in 2025. It's about equal men and women. And you have to think at one time AA was almost a totally male type of thing. There were no women in it. And now about half of them are women. So women and men both facing difficult addiction issues and sharing their stories and doing it together. So I want to talk a little bit about my health because this podcast was set up to talk about my health. And I must say that my health is definitely not as good as it was when we started the podcast when I was 60 years old. So I'm going to be 66 in 1 week, less than a week. I'm going to be 66 years old. And we've talked a lot about my tinnitus. I've been wearing hearing aids now for over a year, and the hearing aids really help me with the tinnitus. So I don't have that mental craziness that the tinnitus gives you when you have it 24 hours a day and you're never ever free of it. As long as I have the hearing aids in, I'm free of the tinnitus. I don't hear it. I hear all the little sounds, I hear all the little bips and clicks and the dog's tapping its toes and all those little sounds, but I don't hear the tinnitus. As soon as I take the hearing aids out, of course, I hear the tinnitus again. It comes rushing in like the ocean, and I go to bed though, and I sleep well. So I go to sleep, and I mean, it doesn't bother me while I sleep. I get up, put the hearing aids in, and it's gone again. So that has allowed me to live with the tinnitus. I feel I sound quite nasal right now, and I know at this time of year because it is November. It's November 17th, 2025. So I know that the house is very dry. It's -2 outside, -2 degrees Celsius. So it's quite nippy outside. The heat is on inside. So my throat is dry. My nasal passages are dry. But those are just common seasonal things. As far as health, I think the major issue for me that's changed so much is that my hearing has gotten progressively worse, so I don't hear nearly as well. And I have a lot of pain that I never had before. I have pain in the bottom of my feet. I have pain in different joints. It moves around in my hands. In the last 4 days, I've had this terrible pain in my little finger, the last distal joint of my little finger. And it's just been terrible. It's just horrible. So I'm hoping that goes away soon. Lots of pain in my back. Whenever I eat, I feel pain in my middle back. So I tend to not eat most of the day. I'm definitely not a grazer or a snacker. Last night, for example, I ate around 5:30 was the first meal I had in the day. I do drink coffee in the morning, but otherwise, like today, I've had nothing to eat today. It's mid-afternoon, and I won't eat until I don't know 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. And that works well for me because my back feels pretty good right now. As soon as I eat, my middle back hurts. So I don't know what the connection is, but it's something that has happened since I started this podcast. So back when I started, I did have aches and pains mostly in my shoulders from when I was working. I was doing a lot of adjusting. I had sore shoulders. I had low back pain from doing, manual type of healthcare. But I never had this middle back pain associated with eating. So that's it's a concern of mine. I I keep an eye on it. It's not incapacitating. I had taken a bunch of painkillers at one point when it first started, but I just had to stop taking the painkillers. I think I've talked about this in past podcasts. They just do a number on me. They affect my stomach, they affect my bowels, they constipate me. So I'd rather just live with the pain. And the other thing that happens with painkillers is I do too much and I overexert myself. At least with the pain, the real raw pain, it limits what I can do. I know I have to rest. I know I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that, or I need to do that in partial steps. But when you're on painkillers, it's just, you think you're Superman and you think you can do anything you want. So I live without painkillers, but I live in a lot of pain. I'm in pain pretty much all the time. Until I lay down in bed and put my head on that pillow, I'm in pain. But bearable pain, I live through it. I do everything. I bagged 50 bags of leaves out in my yard this year. And, I can do it. I can do things. I just have pain. I live with pain all the time. And the last thing that I have going on, which is concerning again, is it's my vocabulary seems to be dropping, it seems to be restricting, and I'm not sure why. I think, I don't talk as much to people anymore. I don't have conversations like I used to at one time. I don't have banter back and forth with people. It's like I'm just out of practice almost to draw the word that you want, to draw the word. Even I'm struggling a little bit with crosswords. I love doing crosswords. I'm struggling with it right now because my brain just doesn't seem to be clicking to the different types of way to say things. Like my vocabulary seems to be shrinking. So hopefully that is not an ominous sign of something, but it is what it is. And that's what this podcast was all about, was just to kind of record what's happening to me as I go from 60 to 70. And one of the things I did back a few years ago is I retired. So, I mean, I'm still getting used to that. It's been almost 5 years, but I just, I have to fill my day. I have to keep myself occupied, keep myself stimulated. It's a different world. Being retired is a whole different world. I mean, I try to stay active. I'm a member of the Lions Club and I volunteer whenever I can. But yeah, it's the days are long. The weeks are short, but the days are long. It's a weird thing that happens at this point in life at 66 years old and being retired for a few years. I built a hydraulic kids toy. It was too complex for my grandson. He just couldn't do it. So I took it over. I took the project over. It took me about 5 hours. Built all the hydraulics, built the handles, built the levers, this little grappling arm. It was really fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it now. I mean, now that it's built. And I'm working on a puzzle. And of course, I always have my dogs. I walk my dogs. I took a nice walk on the trail this morning. Take a 4 kilometer walk every day with them in the morning, and then take them out in the evening just for another walk, just for both of us to get some fresh air. The days are very short right now in Ontario in November, with the time change and everything, it's starting to get dark around 4:15. Like it's starting to get dusky. By 5 o'clock, it's like pitch black. So it's tough. It's tough. It's tough in Ontario at this time of year. So I always look forward to um, spring. We haven't even hit winter yet, but I'm always looking forward to spring. The other thing with aging as well is that I've noticed that I just not as warm as I used to be. I have to bundle up. I have to layer up way more than I used to. Make sure my feet are warm. Make sure my head is warm. I lived my whole life. I grew up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, which is way up north, and I would never wear a hat because it would mess up my hair. I would never wear a hat. Minus 20, minus 30. And, well, I mean, minus 30, I'd wear a hat. But I mean, regular daytime temperatures because I didn't want to mess up my hair. Well, forget about my hair now. I go out with a hat. I started wearing a hat in October because my head started getting cold. And, I wear a hat every time I go out the door now. I wear a toque or some kind of cap, something to keep my ears warm, and often wear gloves. Like it's -2, and people have great tolerance for temperature. Like I can look outside and see people walking by with their dogs, and some of them are in their sweatshirts and long pants, and some of them are in winter coats with toques on and scarves. So you just never know. But there is definitely an association with age, because the older you are, it seems the more bundled up you are as you're walking down my street. And this case is for me definitely being a 66-year-old man. I definitely bundle up a lot more. Now I've hinted a few times about talking about the one thing in my life that has really been, it's probably the worst thing in my life. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life is um, I my son my son left me 5 years ago, and we've had no contact with him since then, other than a couple of very very awkward funerals and a wedding, um, and very very awkward those two situations. Uh, I keep talking about, I'm going to talk about it, but I'm afraid to talk about it, and I'm afraid to talk about it because I don't want to make it worse. I don't want to say anything that might prolong it even more. It's already been 5 years, and I was thinking of breaking down, what happened when it all happened and everything, but that's a conversation I have to have with him at some point. And I just somehow he needs to know how much I love him, how much I miss him, how this issue is minor in the big scheme of things. Whatever happened, whatever pushed you to the edge of not wanting to see your parents ever again, I hope that idea can change. I hope you can change your mind on that. I hope you can come around to seeing us again and involving us in your life again. Because I miss you dearly. I miss you so much. I love you so much. And I just really want you to be in contact with us again, to be part of our life again. And I hope that you will. I hope that whatever has hurt you so much, whatever we did that hurt you to this degree, I'm sincerely, sincerely sorry that it happened. I'm a different person than you knew 5 years ago. I'm not the same person. And I think I'm a better person. And I think it'd be worth your time to think about at least reaching out and maybe we could have a coffee. We could talk a bit because that would be the best thing to do to move forward because I'm not going to be here forever. Um, this problem shouldn't be worse. This problem shouldn't be worse than the love of a family. And your family loves you, and we loved you from the moment you were conceived, and we still love you. And we just want you to call us, send me a text, send me an email. Let's open up a dialogue. That's all I really want to say because I don't want to say anything that would upset him in any way. So anyway, that's it. So if you listen to the end here, I love you and I really, really appreciate you. There's only a few of you out there. There's only a handful of people that have listened to even half of my catalog, only a handful of people. And there's only one person who's listened to my entire catalog. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am about that because that just makes it all worth it that somebody took the time to listen to every single episode. And so, and that handful of people that have listened to a good portion of them, I really appreciate you guys. And if you're just a new listener and you made it to this far, wow, go back and look at some of the old ones. There's a lot of good stuff back there. There was some really good stuff at the beginning in 2019 and 2020 before the world kind of changed so drastically, and I changed a lot as well. So here's to it. Love you guys and have a great day. We'll talk to you again. My birthday's coming up next week. Maybe I'll tune in again and talk to you about what it's like to turn 66. Okay, love you guys.